Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, I want us to have a very candid conversation today. You know, if you're a political enthusiast or if you're someone who follows politics very closely, then there is only one thing that is on your mind currently, and that is who is going to face President William Ruto come 2027. I included, that question has been bugging me for a very long time because saizi ukiongea na kila mtu anasema anachukia Ruto, kila mtu hataki Ruto akuwe re-elected, kila mtu anasema hii serikali inakandamiza wananchi. And as Senator Sifuna likes to put it, everybody is saying that removing President William Ruto from office is a matter of national importance. It is the only thing, you know. But who is going to do that? Who is going to face President William Ruto on the ballot come 2027? And actually, that is why I'm making this video. So, Rigathi Gachagua last week decides that he's going to declare his presidential ambitions. Alisema come 2027, expect his name on the ballot paper. He is going to be on the ballot to face President William Ruto. And that has prompted different analogies from different political analysts. Analysts that I respect very much. I have seen Lee McQueen talk about that. I have seen Fanyamambo talk about it. I have seen even Herman Manyora talking about it. And most of them are saying that if Rigathi Gachagua decides to be on the ballot come 2027, it is going to be the easiest win for President William Ruto. Just story acha kwanza nipige sipu. That is going to be the easiest win that President Ruto will ever have. And personally, I don't think I agree with that analogy. But let us go to the original question, the question I posed at the beginning of this video. Who is going to be on the ballot to face President William Ruto come 2027? And the United Opposition, as they call themselves, two candidates have already declared that they are going to be on the ballot come 2027. That is one, Fred Okengo Matiang'i, and two, Rigathi Gachagua. I have not mentioned Kalonzo because every time Kalonzo is asked the question, anasemanga, we will agree with other principles in the United Opposition and we will come up with a name. And when the time is right, we will give you the candidate that we will all fully support. Hajawahi sema that he is going to be on the ballot come 2027. That is why I have only mentioned Rigathi Gachagua and Fred Okengo Matiang'i. And probably, if the Kenya Moja, and this is the third force that I was talking about. Personally, I don't think it is going to be a third force because a lot of things come into play, especially when you're running a presidential campaign. And one thing is finances. I don't think that these guys have the financial muscle to pull a successful presidential campaign. So I have not counted them out, but I don't think they are going to be a third force. You know, people like Maraga also, because of the same reasons, I don't think they really will give President William Ruto headache when it comes to 2027, unless they align behind one presidential candidate. Now, back to the analogy that prompted me to do this video, but wacha nipike funda la chai, kuna baridi mbaya. The analogy is this, that should Rigathi Gachagua decide to be on the ballot come 2027, and you know, saizi in the United Opposition, farasi ni watatu, Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, and very closely, Fred Okengo Matiang'i, and I'm going to tell you why. Kalonzo Musyoka, because this guy has been tested and proven. He does not bring theory, he brings reality. He has been on the ballot 2007, he has supported Raila 2013, 2017, and 2022. He has been tested and proven. He has his own block of votes. And the people who vote for Kalonzo Musyoka follow him loyally. They are loyal to him. They follow him. Rigathi Gachagua, once he was impeached, his mission was to make President William Ruto irrelevant in the mountain. And according to me, huyo jamaa succeed. He has succeeded in making sure that President William Ruto is irrelevant in the mountain. He has succeeded. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, The reason I'm adding Fred Okengo Matiang'i in this list is not even because of the backing of the Kisii community. No. It is because of the financial muscle he has backing him. And by that I mean the Jubilee Party, and by the Jubilee Party I mean President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Like I said in the beginning of this video, that I don't think Kenya Moja is going to be a third force. Mainly, not because they cannot consolidate votes, not because they don't appeal to young Kenyans or the young generation of voters. No. But because a lot of things come into play when it comes to presidential campaigns. And one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, ni ganji, ni do. To run a successful presidential campaign, ulipe agents wakwe kwa kila polling station, ubrand magari in all the 47 counties, in all the 290 constituencies. For you to do that, ukwe na aspirants kila mahali. For you to have the money to run a presidential campaign, you have to have serious financial muscle. I don't think kuna investors, unajua tunasikianga kuna the Mount Kenya business community, kuna different business communities, na hawa ndio wanakujanga wanaback different candidates because politics is all about interests. Wakiona their interest is served with this political candidate, they decide to back him with their resources. I don't think the Kenya Moja coalition will have the financial resources to pull a successful presidential campaign. I also don't think Maraga will have the financial resources to pull a successful presidential campaign. Remember, elections are not won on Twitter. Elections are not won on social media. And I get it. You cannot discard social media because of, first of all, kuna kitu ina happen in Nepal, kama ujaona. You cannot discard the power of social media. But in our country, elections are not won on social media. And that is why I don't think Kenya Moja and Maraga, I don't think there's going to be a third force. But anyway, hiyo hata si point. Acha nikwe kama Sabato. Hiyo hata si point. Point ni hii. Ni sawa. Tumepata farasi ni watatu in the united opposition. But now, what do you really bring to the table? Because saizi huwezi kuja kutuambia, utajenga study 15, utajenga hospitali kila mahali, utekea kila mtu lami hadi kwake. Kenyans are now seeing past that bullshit. Kenyans are not going to buy that. And that is why I was actually laughing the other day when President William Ruto was saying, I'll construct an ICT hub, sijui wapi. Kenyans are seeing past the bullshit right now. Na ndio maana pia yeye aliachanga kuongea ile story ya barabara itatoka Lagdera iende sijui. Kenyans are way past that. The only thing that we want to know is how will our lives be better than how is my life going to be better than it is right now? How are we going to live better than we are right now if we elect you president? And that is where the problem comes in. And that is why I get it, why all these political analysts are saying that if Rigathi Gachagua decides to be on the ballot come 2027, that it is going to be the easiest win for President William Ruto. I know that is where they get that analogy. Because, unajua, it is very clear that Rigathi has a personal score to settle with William Ruto. That is clear to everybody. It is very clear. And to some extent, even Matiang'i seems to have a personal score to settle with President William Ruto because of the person behind him, because of Uhuru Kenyatta. Remember, when this administration came into power, they attacked Uhuru in every way that they could. This reminds me of the 2016 elections in the United States, where Hillary Clinton, the only agenda of her campaign was how Trump disrespects women, was how Trump is not fit to become president, was how Trump was uncouth, uncultured, unmannered. That was the only basis of Hillary Clinton's campaign. Rarely did she talk about what she's going to do for the American people. And that is the problem that I'm seeing with Gachagua. Every time you take the microphone, you attack the current president. But what are you really going to do for the Kenyan people? And also his mode of politics. The guy believes in shareholder politics. That I am coming with the Kikuyu block. This is what I should negotiate. You're coming with the Kisii block. This is what you should negotiate. You're coming with the Kamba block. This is what you should negotiate. He believes in that type of politics. Past your beef with Ruto, what else are you bringing to the table? Interests za Wakenya ziko juu ya beef yako na the current president. Because you have not showed that to us yet. You know? Now, Matiang'i, everybody, when Matiang'i was in the US, everybody wanted Matiang'i to come and vie for the presidency because he seemed like the no-nonsense man. And God knows, saizi hatutaki mtu wa kucheka kwa kitu. Tunataka mtu wa kusafisha vitu, Kenya isonge mbele. Because we are behind. Corruption, everything. We really need someone who is a no-nonsense guy. And to Kenyans, because when Matiang'i was the Cabinet Secretary of Interior and the Principal Cabinet Secretary then, during Uhuru's Kenyatta's government, Matiang'i seemed to be like the no-nonsense guy. And Kenyans wanted that at the top position. So, Kenyans had very high expectations of Matiang'i. But when he came back, he did not really live to the expectations of a lot of Kenyans. He lacks the it factor. He lacks something. He lacks the drive. You know, he has not sold himself to Kenyans in a way that meets the expectations that Kenyans had for him. That is the only issue that I have with Matiang'i. The fire in the belly, you know, the it factor. He doesn't have it. Now, for Kalonzo Musyoka, the only demerit with Kalonzo Musyoka is the financial resource to pull a presidential campaign. But Kalonzo ticks all the boxes. The stars have aligned for Kalonzo Musyoka. We have to be very honest with that. He's the only guy who seems not to have a personal score to settle with President William Ruto. Kalonzo ticks all the boxes. He has the experience. He has been tested before in 2007, in 2012, or 2013, in 2017, and in 2022. He has been on the ballot in the capacity of vying for the presidency in 2007 and being a running mate for Raila Odinga in all these other elections. He has been tested. He knows, he has the experience of how a political campaign should be. And let us hope that he has learned from the mistakes of the Azimio, the NASA, and the CORD campaign. He has learned from that experience. So this guy ticks almost all the boxes. But the only problem that I have with Kalonzo is his mobilizing skills, his oratory skills. He lacks the oratory skills ya kusimama na convince the undecided Kenyan. Hana ile oratory skills ya kunyorosha William Ruto mpaka the undecided Kenyan na make sure that hiyo siku ameamka ameenda kwa ballot. He's a very calm guy. You know? And also there's a question, does he really want the presidency bad enough? Does he really want it bad enough? There's also that question. So these people, first of all, complement each other. Personally, I think Kalonzo Musyoka is going to be the easiest sell. Because first of all, in case Maraga turns out to be a weak candidate, Kalonzo is going to appeal to the younger generation of voters. And with Kalonzo as the flag bearer and Matiang'i as the running mate, at least Kenyans are going to have the hope that we have a calm guy at the top, too, and we have a no-nonsense guy as his running mate. So that ticket is going to appeal to a lot of Kenyans. So according to me, Kalonzo is going to be the kingmaker come 2027. The stars have really aligned for that guy. He's either going to be the king or the kingmaker. And President William Ruto is not stupid. Let us be very honest, because naonanga kwa comment section People really underestimate President William Ruto. He's not stupid. He knows that Kalonzo is going to be the kingmaker or the king come 2027 because he is the easiest sell right now. He is the easiest sell. He ticks almost all the boxes. The experience, the calm, he ticks almost all the boxes. And he is an easier sell than Gachagua, especially outside the mountain. Kalonzo is a very easy sell.